Shut up and sit down.
Hello again, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Ruhr Report. And today we're going to do one entitled The 7 Types of Preppers. Now, if you've followed this channel for any length of time, you will see that I have done some coverage on a website called tactical.com, and right here should be the image. I will post a link to this specific article that we're going to cover down in the description section. This is by Pat C. I read this. I'm really becoming a big fan of tactical.com. They put out some really amazing and great content. I wanted to share this one, kind of go over some of the talking points of it, throw in a little bit of my own insight on the stuff, but this one's going to be 7 types. This might be a little longer video, so I apologize now. I'll keep it as short as I can, so let's jump straight into this one. All right, first that they have listed in the article is your typical prepper. Now they say that your typical prepper has enough survival supplies and gear to last at least 2 months of post-SHTF. The average prepper usually has a prepper pantry, a bug-out bag, a well-laid-out bug-out plan, and that they have some bushcraft skills, some basic survival skills and knowledge. And then they go on to list some things of a survival mindset, building a shelter, fire, water finding, purifying, foraging, navigating, things like that. I'm hoping that most of my audience is your average prepper, even if you're brand new, even if this is your very first time to this channel, because today you've made the decision that you need to prepare. And if you are, welcome. We love to have you. You found the right channel, because this is going to be a channel that guides you on new preppers and some of your intermediate preppers. And so the average, everyday, typical prepper, those are your ones that they're prepping for your probabilities. Those are the ones that they're everyday normal people. You can't pick them out of a crowd. They have a little extra of food and water, just exactly what he put right here in the article, that they have a basic 2, sometimes 3 month supply. So for 60 to 90 days, they've got all their bases covered. They've got enough skills, supplies, gear, everything, that if something goes down for 60 to 90 days, they are covered. That's what I'm hoping that, I can get most of the people to. I want to get that as kind of like a really good benchmark, goal. Should you go beyond that? Absolutely, you should. But a solid, in my opinion, goal is to get here to your typical prepper status that they outline right here in tactical.com. If you're new, if this is your first day, if this is your first week, whatever, build slow. I understand that everybody's situation is different, that everybody's finances is different, where you live, all that. You don't know where to go. Go check out our lineup. I've got all sorts of videos to try and help you on your preparedness journey here. But start out slow. If you're just new to this, get something for 3 days. Then from there, go to 7 days. From there, go to 2 weeks. From there, go to a month. From there, double it to 2 months. Then from there, might as well just go to 3 months. Then boom, here you are, your typical prepper. It's not hard when you put yourself into very easily attainable, manageable goals. So let's go ahead and move to number 2. All right, here we go. Number 2 on our list, the Doomsday Prepper. Now, if you're new, I'm sure you've seen the TV show Doomsday Preppers. If you're a prepper for a short amount of time or any length of time, you probably know at least one doomsday prepper, and you probably know of at least one person on YouTube that is a doomsday prepper, that the sky is falling, the aliens are coming, zombies are rising out of their graves. As they go through on this one and say that the doomsday prepper is the complete opposite of the typical prepper. Fully agree. Doomsday preppers are prepared to the teeth for what they strongly will believe one day will happen will be a global collapse. Now, can a global collapse happen? Absolutely, it can. Will they be the best prepared people? Maybe. I mean, supplies, gears, things like that. Yeah, they stand a lot better chance. But as they kind of continue to go down here in the article, a lot of them, they kind of lack because they're paranoid. Fully agree with that. A lot of them have a heavily fortified home, bunker. And a lot of these people, they hoard instead of prep. And what I mean by that is that prepping is, take food, for example. You stock what you eat, and you eat what you stock, and you rotate, and you get, a supply of what you can manage. If you are single by yourself and you are just starting out, it does not make a sense for you to go out and buy $5,000 worth of tomato soup. You're not going to eat all that tomato soup. I don't care if you rotate it and you do this and you do that, and you dump each can out and you can it and all that. To try and eat tomato soup that much for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, midnight snack, just because you can and just because you don't want to, you'll never go through that amount. And I've seen a lot of people too that they will buy things because of bartering items or because somebody else likes it. They will seriously buy things they're allergic to. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. I know that for me, I've always said that I will guide you and never tell you not to do anything. I'm sorry, here's rule number one that I'm going to break. Do not buy food you are allergic to, ever. It's a bad idea, okay? So, Doomsday Prepper, I'm sorry I went off on a tangent. That's one of the ones. Let's go ahead and move to the next one. All right, next on the list, Survivalist. So, unlike the average prepper, the Survivalist is the master of everything bushcraft. Agree. The type of prepper that lives off the land and does what it has to survive. They rely on their foraging skills to avoid starvation. They can forage really well, so they can identify wild edibles that differentiate from poisonous plants. Plus, they don't have to worry about a survival shelter or a bug out location to retreat to, because they can easily build a super shelter bushcraft style in a emergency situation, out of what they put in here, tarp with paracord. Now, do I agree with all that? Absolutely. Yes. Pat made a great point in this whole survivalist paragraph on this. A survivalist is, how you want to put it, the less Stroud. Okay? There's nothing wrong with being a survivalist at all. Those are the people that they usually currently live in that lifestyle. They are the people that will live how they're going to live post or SHTF. Things hit the fan, they're probably not going to differentiate much between now and then. It's actually not bad to pick up a lot of their habits and their lifestyle. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to live that lifestyle. It's one of those ones that you should have the skills and the mindset that they have. They will more than likely, in my opinion, be the ones that absolutely make it, depending on what the event is, that happens. But these people are some of your kind of top-notch preppers. It's kind of hard, in my opinion, to put them in the prepping kind of category. Usually non-preparedness minded people lump them in. I don't mind it. I mean, I love these guys. But preparing is to prep things. They more prep skills. A lot of them are very minimalistic. Doesn't mean that they don't have prepping supplies, and thus that would put them in with us preppers. But the majority that I know personally, they are very minimalistic. They have a knife, and oftentimes they don't even have a knife. They barely have clothes. A lot of the things that they have, they make themselves. These guys are probably your top tier if you have to kind of put them in order or whatnot. So that's what a survivalist is. Very good description and article about them. Let's go and move to the next one. All right. So here's one of the ones that probably when I mention it, you're going to go, me, the homesteader. Now, they go on and put on here, no one will be more prepared for bugging in than a homesteader. Extremely, extremely true. They basically have everything they need on the precious piece of land when disaster strikes, making prepping not much of a problem. They lead a very self-sufficient lifestyle, so they're no stranger to growing food, raising livestock, and they can make pretty much everything from soap to clothing. Pretty impressive right there. Yeah, absolutely, it's impressive. Since they basically live off the grid, looting, riots, and other economic collapses won't be on their radar. I'm just gonna, I can't say anything more to agree with this. If you had to really put it in there, the last one that we did was the survivalist. Now you have the homesteader. If you could merge those two into being the ultimate prepper, there you go. Two top tier people that, one is the ultimate bug in, the other one's kind of the ultimate bug out. If you could somehow put them together, there's your absolute ultimate survival, expert person. There they are. If you look at either one of those, if you know either one of those two categories in person or anything along those lines, those are your teachers. Those are your experts, the people that have been being a survivalist or a homesteader for a long period of time. Those are the ones that you need to ask questions and go to and learn. Those are the experienced people that can teach you things that nobody, including myself here on YouTube, is going to be able to teach you. These right here, if you are going to look at them in the prepping community, they are your all-stars. They are your top. They are your elite. This is just an excellent description of them. That's right here. Can't say anything more on just how important and how great it would be if you were just starting out to try and put yourself in that homesteading lifestyle, to develop your skills, develop your land, develop everything, and just have that absolute peace of mind to aspire to be a homesteader. So with that being said, let's move to the next one. All right, so next on the list, the minimalist. Now, I use that term when I went with the survivalist because a lot of survivalists are in fact a minimalist. So there's always a heated debate when comparing preppers to hoarders, but I like that they don't get into that. So the person that is a minimalist focus on skill rather than actual prepping items. Preppers, as they put, should always store food, water, gear. That will last them for 3 months, but both are accurate. There's no harm in choosing to downsize if it means getting a new skill. I agree. What they mean by that, if you are confused, is to have 1,000 gallons of water versus having 50 gallons of water, but you know where to find it and purify it and to be able to clean it for clean reasons and to clean it to make it drinkable and all that. To have the skill and the knowledge they will trade this much down to this much. And it's not a bad idea. Especially this can apply to a lot of people in their bug out bags. A lot of new preppers, they will buy this bag and they will buy all this cool gear and they will buy all this stuff that they will never pull out of the package and they will never use it. They don't know what it is and they don't know what it does, and they will throw it in this really cool backpack because it makes them look cool and it makes them feel better. And no, can't put it any other way than no. Use your gear so you know how it operates, you know it works. Battle test your stuff. Even if it's a pair of scissors, battle test it. Okay? A minimalist will figure out a way to where you can go, this one knife is proven and trustworthy, and I trust it with my life, so I don't need to pack 4 other knives. I don't need to pack this, and I don't need to pack that, and I don't need to pack this other tool. This one tool will cover a multitude of things, and that right there, learning the skill and the knowledge on how to take one proven, battle-tested, trust with your life tool and make your pack 10 pounds lighter is a lifesaver. And so taking some of the good things from a minimalist is a good idea. Each one of these categories, there's something to take from it. You can be a mixture of a bunch of these or all of these to a certain extent. So that's a minimalist. They do a good job describing it and explaining it and all that. Let's go ahead and move to the next one. All right, so here comes the one that I know a lot of people that's watching this has been waiting for me to say. The self-defense prepper. I'm sure, unless this is your very first day, most of you know a self-defense prepper. Those are the guys that all they do is they go after the really cool guns and gear and knives and all the other stuff, and that's what they hoard and focus on. And before I get into my opinion, let's read this. So these preppers are the kind that lead active lifestyles that are ready to fight when things get messy in an SHTF situation. They're pretty good when it comes to hand-to-hand combat because a lot of them take self-defense classes or some sort of law enforcement and military trained. Prepping for them means that you get into good shape. You're really good at defending yourselves and your family from looting, rioting, dangerous gangs, intruders, things like that. A lot of them carry self-defense items that are both non-lethal on their person. Most of the time, in my opinion, they carry lethal. But let me share a little bit on my insight and my opinion on these. The way they describe it, a self-defense prepper is in the good category. I'm not taking away from that. You can be a halfway decent to a good prepper and be in the self-defense category if you've covered your basics. If you have some food, if you have some water, if you have the skills and the knowledge to cover your basics. So, like I said a little bit ago, you can be a minimalist and be a self-defense prepper. I have the skills and knowledge and the minimal things that I need to get by, but I'm focusing on self-defense. That's okay, in my opinion. There's a lot of people that take this and run with it, and they have very little food, very little water, very little medical training and things like that, but they want to have an entire arsenal of self-defense things, okay? For me, my opinion, that's wrong, okay? Because a lot of those, I'm not saying you watching this right now, so hold off on your comment for a minute. A lot of these people are lone wolfers or wolf pack people, and they are, instead of being self-defense preppers, they are that hunt mentality. So they are going to take these items and they are going to go find, at the beginning, they're going to find easy targets, take advantage of people, and that's how they're going to get their supplies. And as things get more difficult, the supply starts to dwindle, and that person or that group is going to have to start trying to find more prepared people. And that for them means a bigger bounty and all that, which might make them want to do it, even more, embolden them and whatnot. Here's my argument with that. If you are planning to be a lone wolfer or a wolf pack or something like that, all I need is some of these items and I can get anything that I need. Is that true? Yeah, it can be. Absolutely. You go up against some little old lady or some young single mother that doesn't believe in firearms or anything like that, and you and 10 other guys kick in her door. Okay, yeah, you can probably take their stuff. I get it. Here's my problem with that. You have to be right 100% of the time for your entire life, because every door you kick in, you're playing Russian roulette with your life. And it takes one time to be wrong and you're done. Game over. So, if you have this notion that SHTF is going to be a video game, there's no reset button. And if you think that you're going to throw on your battle pack and your chest rig and grab your boys and you're just going to go loot a bunch of preppers, we'll see how that goes. You have to be right. And if you're right this time and next time and 50 times, at some point in time, mathematics comes into it and statistics and all that, and you're going to pick the wrong house and the wrong door. And then, now what? So, this is a good one. I know I went off on a tangent, kind of went on my own way on this one. Sorry about that. Let's just move to the next one, okay? All right, so here we come up on another good one. The veteran prepper. So, as they put it, the veteran preppers are obviously from the Army or somewhere military. They've seen everything from a tactical perspective. This is good because they're capable of prepping for disasters and other threats with a solid plan in place. 99% agree. There are some exceptions, and I'm sure they agree with that too. But for the absolute most time, yes. Since they're trained to survive in harsh environments, many of those skills will give them a higher chance of survival. Agree. A few of these skills will be hiding in plain sight, a strong survival mindset, and knowing what's happening around them. Absolutely agree. That could not be any better written, really. A lot of your military trained people, the government has spent a lot of time and money teaching them how not to die. Okay, plain and simple. They don't have to be special forces or anything along those lines. Usually, when you go military, I'm not military, okay? Let's get that out of the way now. Usually, from my knowledge of different things, if you are going to go military, you go through some sort of boot camp, in which a lot of that training is for you and your physical fitness. That's going to help you survive. Mental toughness, help you survive. And they teach you how not to die, because the government pays for the military, and the point in investing in you is to get you to get through your mission. And you can't get through your mission if you don't know how not to die. So a lot of them get taught basic medical, how to spot things in an environment, how to hide, in plain sight, how to kick in a door, how to do different things. And yes, I know that different branches do different things, and that, different, they have different jobs and whatnot. I get that. Most of the time, you have some sort of basic training which teaches you basics, okay? You're going to fire a weapon, you're going to do PT, you're going to do different things like that, So, a veteran, if you know a veteran that also is preparedness minded, they're really good to go, sit out in the front porch and share something to drink and pick their brain on some things. They probably have a lot of knowledge that they're willing to share to you on things that are firsthand. Probably be able to show you a lot of things that they've learned firsthand. They can be some really, really great teachers. One of those is Dave Canterbury. He was former special ops. He is extremely, as most of you have probably heard his name, into the preparedness community. And there's a lot of them that's here on YouTube that are, former special military and things like that, that usually once you get out, it's one of the things that they kind of retain. Not all, but there's a decent amount of them. So if you can find one, probably a good teacher. Let's move on. All right, so we just went through all the different ones. So the 7 types of preppers that they have put in this article by tactical.com. Again, they do great work, not stealing any of their content. The article to this specific article will be linked down in the description section below, so that way you can go read it in its entirety. So far, I've read some really, really great stuff from them, really turning out to be quite a big fan of their work. I try and make sure that they get all the credit. Pat C. Sorry. Pat did a really good job of writing this article. And the past ones that we did in some past content were really, really good. So if you can, go over to tactical.com, check them out. They've got a lot of really, really great content over there. I'm sure that I will be covering a lot more of their content in the future. But as you went down through and saw a brief description of each of the types of preppers, which category did you fall into? Let me know down in the comments below. Did I leave something out? Is there a category that they left out that, we can maybe come up with 7 different other kinds of preppers? Which one is your favorite prepper? Which one are you inspiring to be like? If you could build the ultimate prepper, which 2, 3, 4 of them would you put together to, build the ultimate prepper? Why would you pick them? So just a really quick thing from them. We'll wrap this up. Hit like, subscribe, bell for notification. So that way YouTube will hopefully let you know when I do new and future content. Don't forget to go check out our Facebook page by searching for The Rural Report. And then I will wrap this by saying remain united, because we're all prepping in this together.